The Huskies are back home playing on campus for the first time since before Thanksgiving. We're leading off tonight at the Husky Heritage Sports Museum, celebrating the history for UConn, and we're just a few steps from Gamble Pavilion, where tonight the second-ranked Huskies take on the Temple Owls. And we take a look at the standings in the American Conference. 4-0 UConn, 4-0 USF, those two teams meeting this weekend. But tonight, 3-1 Temple is here to take on the Huskies. Little change of pace for us here tonight. Eric Fried, Megan Como here with you as we take a look back at the first half of the season. We're 15 games in to this 30-game regular season schedule. So, Meg, what stands out to you about this UConn team in the first half of the season?
Well, let's go back to that Stanford game, because that's really where the season started for this team. Lost in a way that I haven't seen a UConn team lose like this in a really long time. Giving up open layups, driving to the basket, wide open threes. So they go down to Florida, and we were down there with them. And just to watch the way they responded and went inward, worked together, it wasn't always pretty, but it was effective. And so now look who is emerging. Morgan Tuck is now the leader of this team. Mariah Jefferson is playing exceptionally well. Tia Nurse no longer coming off the bench. She has inserted herself into the starting lineup as a freshman, which is very difficult to do. So this team is in a much better place today, but we know they have a long way to go.
Yes, they're not a finished product. So as we take a look at these next 15 games in the regular season, but more importantly, into March and into April, what areas do they need to work on?
Well, continue with the mental toughness piece, because that was really why they lost that game. It certainly was an ability, and it's between the ears and it's in the heart. So if they continue to sharpen those things, they're going to be okay. But continue to work defensively, be what they always are, and that's tough to score against, tough to complete a pass against. But offensively, they need to continue to make the right decisions. The confidence that this team has and the consistency is really going to be the question. So how do you get that consistency? Well, make sure Brianna Stewart touches the ball every single possession on offense. Make sure Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis touches the ball, either whether it's getting it to her on the wing for a wide open three or getting her the ball where she can penetrate and kick and pass and set up her teammates. She's so good at that. Those two players have brought them there in the past, and that's who's going to bring them there in crunch time this year.
We'll see what happens tonight as UConn set to take on the Temple Owls. We'll be back with a look at the starting lineups and have the opening tip when we come back on SNY. UConn women's basketball on SNY is brought to you by Subaru of New England. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. By Connecticut Lighting Centers and Restoration Lighting Galleries. So much more than just a lighting store. And by Axis Health, Connecticut's official health insurance marketplace. Open enrollment ends February 15th. Still time to get single game tickets for the defending national champions, the UConn women and UConn men. Tickets are on sale. Go to UConnTickets.com to get in on the action. Let's take a look at tonight's opponent, the Temple Owls. The scouting report presented by Cadillac. What can we expect tonight, Meg?
Well, they had won their first 3 games in conference. They lost a tough one to USF. But the thing you got to remember about Tanya Cardozo's team is they're very young, only one senior, and they're very small. They love to play in transition. They love to press. And that's going to be a struggle for them this evening. But you know what? She loves this group. Great personality, great chemistry on this team. They get along really well. They had a bunch of kids transfer over the last year or two. So they're in a good place. It's just going to be rebuilding.
Let's take a look at tonight's starting lineups presented by Subaru. Temple comes in with a 7-10 record. Aaliyah Butts is a freshman. Erica Colville, Tania Atkinson, Tiana Williams, and Mama Traore starting 5 for Temple. For UConn, it's Morgan Tuck, Mariah Jefferson, Kia Nurse, Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis, and Brianna Stewart. The starting 5 we've become very familiar with since game number 3 of the season for head coach Gino Auriemma. And as Meg alluded to, coaching against one of his former assistants, Tanya Cardozo, in her 7th season at Temple after taking over from Dawn Staley. They were picked 4th in the preseason poll in the American. We are ready for basketball here at Gamble Pavilion. We had to ask for directions how to get back to this place. First time UConn playing here since November 23rd when they beat Creighton UConn wins the tip.
It is crazy how long it's been since they played here. I don't even know if you can call this a home court.
Brianna Stewart on the inside for the game's first 2 points. Now we take you back to the trip to Philadelphia last year where Stewart went for a career-high 37 points against Temple. And an early turnover for the Owls.
Well, there's nothing that Gina Auriemma would love more than if Brianna Stewart had anything close to that in terms of points here this evening.
Was 15 of 19 from the field in that game. If you leave her open, she'll take it. There's Mosqueda Lewis on the inside and a foul called on Temple. As we break down individual players going forward here, that's one area where you want to see KML, right? You want to see her mix it up on the inside a bit.
Exactly. The more active Mosqueda Lewis is, the better that UConn will be.
4 quick points for Stewart as she scores on the inside. Eric Bruton, Brian Hall, Polyani Spurlock, our officiating crew here tonight at Gamble. And there's Mosqueda Lewis on the inside defensively. Stewart changed the shot and then tipped the rebound to Tuck.
That was a good example of how undersized Temple is. They couldn't get that offensive rebound.
Kia Nurse draws a foul on Butts. 4-0 start here for the Huskies. They had a 21-0 run in the first half at SMU and then a 27-0 run to start the second half against the Mustangs. Here is Tuck, and just like that, it's 6-0 UConn.
Such good poise Morgan Tuck has in that low post. Reading where the defense was, feeling where they was, and then made her move.
Butts, a freshman, starting for the 6th consecutive game to Colville. Colville off the top of the backboard, and it's Kia Nurse who finds Mariah Jefferson 1-on-2. But the help on the trailer from Stewart. Timeout coming for Temple. 6 of the 8 points scored by the junior from Syracuse.
Watch Morgan Tuck. When she gets the ball, she's got such great poise, patience, feeling where's the defense. And that baby hook can't be stopped. See, she establishes herself. Look, feel. I love it. All day long. Nobody could stop that. I don't care if the other player is taller than Tuck.
And when you take a look at how good UConn's been attacking in the paint, it's been all UConn over the last 3 games.
That's impressive. 100 points, and their opponents only 28.
In the paint.
That's impressive.
Gonna win a lot of games that way. And with Morgan Tuck and Brianna Stewart attacking on the inside, it's an early 8-0 lead for the Huskies.
And that's what we talked about at the top of the show, recognizing who you got to get the ball to and where.
Colville on the pull-up, couldn't get it, and quickly looking for Jefferson is Mosqueda Lewis. Stewart. The leaner is too strong, and the rebound comes down to Tiana Williams, the only senior on this team, and Williams will take it to the basket and draw the foul. Well, Meg just talked about it in the scouting report for Temple. This is a smaller team, but if they get an opportunity, they will push it in transition.
Right. Well, see, I thought Nurse should have passed the ball to Stewart sooner, but Temple loves the transition game. And that was a really smart take. Because take it to the basket, Tiana Williams did before UConn's defense settled.
Williams is 79% free throw shooter. She led the conference last year at 90%. Stewart. Wide open look and fighting against Tuck on the glass. The foul is going to be called on Traore.
I notice an urgency about Stewart that she wants to be more aggressive offensively. You can feel that she is just going to be more aggressive, and certainly she's taken more shots here than she has in the last couple games.
Another foul called on Temple.
And the problem with Temple is they only have 9 players on their roster, so Tanya Cardoza doesn't want to keep hearing this whistle blowing and fouls called on her players.
4 team fouls here in the early going on Temple. as Morgan Tuck at the free throw line. A bit of a struggle for Morgan against SMU. Was 2 of 8 from the field, had 5 points. Just wasn't in her rhythm, but she's got 4 here to start for the Huskies, who are up by 10. Kia Nurse called for the foul.
That was a smart play by Williams, too, to kind of draw that foul.
First personal, second team foul.
This will be interesting to keep an eye on Kia Nurse here today with some speed in the backcourt here for Temple, trying to stay in front of the Owls. Butts. Turnover. Jefferson had Tuck up ahead. Tuck will run interference. Stewart saved it, but threw it out of bounds. Temple ball. Substitution for Temple, Fionda Fitzgerald, who is now coming off the bench, sophomore from Norfolk, who was the only underclassman on the Americans preseason all-conference team. So Fitzgerald, one to watch with the basketball right now for Temple, leading the team in scoring at 12.5 a game.
Yeah, all freshman and all conference last year, but she likes coming off the bench, kind of see what happens with the game, assess it, and then come in and make a difference.
Mosqueda Lewis, first 3 on the way from KML. She has now taken over 11th place on the all-time scoring list at the University of Connecticut, now with 1,803 points. Tiffany Hayes back a slot now to 12th. And they're the first points tonight for the Owls.
A tough shot by Coville over the long outstretched arm of Brianna Stewart.
Coville third on the team in scoring, averaging double figures. They have 4 averaging in double figures this year for Temple. As a team, scoring at 65 points a game. As a team, Connecticut scoring at 88.8 points a game as Stewart scores again.
Well, Stewart called for the ball, and I like the recognition. Huge height differential. She had such an advantage. She's saying, give me the ball in the lane.
Fitzgerald, strong take. Back is Jefferson. That won't go down for Mariah, who takes another tumble. She's fine, just a little ticked off, slapped the floor on the baseline there. It was followed up, and the Huskies are on top by 15.
She's saying, how did I miss 2 layups already? But good finish and follow there by Morgan Tuck.
Who now has 6 points. That one is well short from Fitzgerald, and that will get us to our first timeout. It comes with 15:34 to go here in the first half. Great start again for UConn and Mosqueda Lewis. 17-2 UConn out of the blocks here at Gamble Pavilion. Just the second time UConn has played here this season. Back on November 23rd, they beat Creighton 96-60. So what has happened since November 23rd?
Just a little bit, right?
What a long, strange trip it's been. 12-0 for UConn. They won in Florida. Gino passed Leon Barmore for #1 all-time in winning percentage. Kalina Mosqueda Lewis passed Diana Taurasi for #1 all-time in three-pointers made. We've had plenty of individual honors handed out, and we've played in plenty of places just in the state of Connecticut since last year in stores.
3 different locations. It's like, what is home? And they practice in the new Worth Champion Center, so it's not like they practice here every day in Gamble.
And they had a practice here yesterday just to get reacquainted with their home since 1990, their on-campus home. UConn basketball, Mariah Jefferson, well, she hasn't missed much. Frankly, she hasn't missed anything in the last couple of weeks, but she's caught a lot of iron here in the early going. Hot feed inside, and Morgan Tuck now with 8 points. The feed from Stewart.
Again, I really like how Brianna Stewart is sharing the basketball. Nice charge there. Nice take by Mosqueda Lewis.
We go back to what Gino Auriemma said about Mosqueda Lewis after the Notre Dame win. Might have been one of her best games because of the way she played, how tough she was, the way she passed, how she scored in the lane, her defense.
Yep.
You want to see those intangibles here develop over this next few weeks. Little move in the lane, but a foul before the shot. No, they are going to count the basket. A little continuation for KML. How about that?
Nice take by KML. She'll take that continuation as well.
Mariah Jefferson will come out. She's missed her first 3 field goal attempts here today, but she does have 2 assists. So here is number 1 on the all-time list. They had a brief ceremony before the game to honor Mosqueda Lewis. She's now 15 of 16 from the free throw line. She just hasn't taken a ton of free throws.
And what that tells you is she's not driving to the lane enough. And that's what Gino wants her to do. I mean, every time she can drive to the lane, it makes this team better no matter what happens.
Kia Stokes into the game for Mariah Jefferson as she gets an early steal. Nurse had trouble all around her. And now Butts with Kia Stokes back defensively. How about that from the freshman from Edgewater Park, New Jersey? First points for her.
Great take by Butts, because Kia Stokes was running back there with a little smirk and smile on her face, just ready to swat it. And Butts is only 5'4".
Thrown away by Stewart. A little miscommunication with Mosqueda Lewis. Turnover for the Huskies. That is number 2 for UConn. 4 turnovers here for Temple. Khadijah Berger in for Temple, along with Sophia Martin. And Butts with another field goal, this time for 3. 4th on the team in scoring at better than 10 points a game. Freshman settling in here against second-ranked Connecticut. There's another little pull-up, little drive from Mosqueda Lewis. Fighting for the offensive rebound and a second chance here. Tuck calls for it. Well, that little hook puts her into double figures with 10.
As long as they utilize some patience on offense and don't try to go too fast, they'll get whatever they want.
Stokes pulls down the board.
And the key is to go crazy on defense and then composed on offense. The turnover there by Nurse.
Yeah, Nurse a little out of control trying to drive the lane, turned it over. Mariah Jefferson will get back into the game next dead ball, I would assume, for Nurse. Colville. And Tuck is going to get called for the foul. Take it back to Kalina Mosqueda Lewis fighting on the inside.
Well, you know, she drove, took the shot in traffic, found a way to snag the offensive rebound, kept it alive. And Tuck, the recipient once again of a really good pass from Brianna Stewart.
First one is good for Colville as Nurse will head to the bench as Mariah Jefferson checks back into the game.
The problem with UConn, because they go on these 22-0 runs, is that sometimes they get a little impatient and want it all to happen at once. They got to just be patient, run offense, and take the right shots. And that decision-making has been, you know, an issue with them. But it's hard to say that because you're saying, well, wait a minute, Meg, they're up 24-9.
When you take a look at the numbers for the season, they're shooting 53%. There's part of the reason why when you score on the inside like Morgan Tuck is at will here in the first half, she has 12 points. Well, they're first in the country in field goal percentage. They're third in the country in assists at better than 20 a game. So that would tell you, well, they're sharing the ball and they're getting high percentage shots, but you're talking decision making. You're looking at a few different angles on this team,
right?
Just trying to make sure they're always doing the right thing. A block shot by Stokes.
Well, because I could see Gino's reactions on the bench when they turn it over, and he gets exasperated. Like, are you kidding me? We turned it over there with no defensive pressure. Nice block again by Kia Stokes.
There's the first 2 for Vienna Fitzgerald. Temple trying to settle in here in Stores. They'll pick and roll to the basket, and Brianna Stewart is into double figures, joining Morgan Tuck there. With that field goal, Stewie is now in the top 20 on the all-time scoring list here at UConn.
Yeah, she's going to keep going north on that list.
And quickly.
No question about it.
Mariah Jefferson once again to Tuck, and Morgan Tuck continues to pile up the points. She is now 6 for 6 from the field, 14 points for the redshirt sophomore. Berger can't get it, and the rebound was last touched by Temple, the UConn ball, when we come back to Gamble Pavilion. Morgan Tuck averaging 14 a game at 14 now. UConn, a 13-game winning streak. They're on top of Temple here in the first half. It's time for Como's Court Vision. Meg, that's your cue.
Well, I was watching the people throwing the T-shirts in the crowd. Watch the screen here. Brianna Stewart sets a great screen on number 21. Mosqueda Lewis comes off it, right? Well, not great communication by Temple. Stewart rolls to the basket. Now look at 41. Kia Stokes in the middle lane, up at the high post, so her man can't double and help down on Brianna Stewart. Really good spacing, really good execution.
All 30 points from Tuck, Mosqueda Lewis, and Stewart so far. Huskies on top by 19. They have the basketball. Gabby Williams into the game for the first time, and here's her first touch. Williams coming off a very impressive performance at SMU. 12 points, a career-high 16 rebounds in 21 minutes of play.
And so you say, okay, well, what can UConn get out of games like this or the SMU game? Well, you know what? Different players get confidence.
Stokes with another block. Comes in 5th in the country at 3.9 blocks a game. And now running the floor, and the hook inside can't get it, but there is the rebounding machine, Gabby Williams.
Just couldn't quite finish in the lane. 2 good looks.
Butts with a heat check.
Wow. That was from Hillside Road.
There's Williams, first 2 for the freshman. Gabby is shooting better than 65% from the field, and she'll have a chance to finish off a 3-point play. Martin picks up the personal.
First personal, 7th team foul.
Before she takes the free throw, here is Sanaya Chong into the game as Mosqueda Lewis goes to the bench. She has scored 8 so far on 3 of 4 shooting. Also has 4 rebounds. UConn dominating on the glass so far here at Gamble. And in the paint. Points in the paint, 24-0 in favor of the Huskies. And look at the rebounding. 19-4.
And Temple's a pretty good offensive rebounding team, even though they're undersized.
Erica Colville starting to settle in a little bit. She has 7 points. She has 1 Player of the Week award in the American this year. Stokes. First 2 for Kia. The lead is 20 for the Huskies. Colville, and then coming back to block it is Stokes, but she is whistled for the foul.
She did swat at it, and she was late. She knew it.
At the free throw line for Temple is Sophia Martin, sophomore from Fayetteville, Georgia, averaging 4 points a game. That's her first point. Let's check in with Kareth Burke.
Well, Eric, during that last time out, I listened to what Tanya Cardozo was telling her team, and there's no long faces on that bench right now. They were all leaning into what she was saying, intently looking at that clipboard as she drew up the next play. The message was shoot the ball with confidence and box out, guys, as Temple tries to make sure they can stay into this game. Eric?
Tie up, possession arrow going Temple's way. Well, you know, and we talk about it game by game, whether it's SMU or East Carolina or Temple here tonight, you know you're overmatched taking on the 2-time defending champions, but are you going to get better in a game like this? Are you going to do some things that you can build on?
And so much of it is just confidence, and as many coaches have told us, Eric, you can't lose the game before you start, and that's what happens to a lot of teams. They look at the UConn on the jersey, and they panic. Well, Tanya is not going to panic, having coached here for 9 years, having been an outstanding player herself in Virginia.
Kia Nurse back into the game for UConn, along with Morgan Tuck, Chong, Williams, and Stewart rounding out the 5 right here for the Huskies. Shot clock now down to 8. And a foul called on Gabby Williams. Looks like she had a little hand check going there and got called for it.
Well, the student section had done a really good job of counting down the shot clock, and they were 5 seconds earlier than the real shot clock. So it was 8 seconds, and they were counting 3, 2, 1. So the kid got the shot off, but UConn bailed her out by fouling her.
Why do teams fall for that?
They're not paying attention.
Okay. Fitzgerald at the free throw line makes the first. Meg mentioned a 3-0 start in conference play. Fitzgerald played a big role in the win against Memphis. Scored 14 points all in the second half in that come from behind win against the Tigers. Tuck's had a great start here. Stewart, tough spot on the baseline, and the rebound pulled down by Atkinson. Homecoming for the freshman from New Haven. Got a lot of friends, family, former teammates here at the game tonight. Now facing a trap in front of the UConn bench. Nurse gets it back. Unable to finish. Boy, we've seen a bunch of shots just roll off for UConn here in the first half.
Because it's a road game. They're not used to these rims. But what I love about Kia Nurse, her expression never changes. She just keeps playing so hard.
Tuck. 7 for 7 from the field here in the first half for Morgan Tuck, now with 16 points. Butts. Stewart saw her coming, spiked it down. She came into the game second on the team with 31 blocks this season. Stewart got perfect position inside for 2. She now has 12.
Their offense definitely has a different purpose here this evening. I love their patience. They're getting the ball into the lane.
Stewart tips it into the hands of Nurse. Now Kia Nurse. Gabby Williams, nice little pass on the inside to Morgan Tuck, and a timeout called by Temple. Tuck now 8 for 8, give an assist to Gabby Williams, give a block to Brianna Stewart on one end, then a field goal on the other. She has 12, and the Huskies are up by 22. UConn rolling in the first half. Morgan Tuck, as we mentioned before, was 2 of 8 against SMU, but the game before that she was 10 of 12 from the field against Tulsa, and she's back in the I can't miss zone here tonight.
Well, I think it's because of the patience that when she gets the ball, she's never in a hurry. She feels where the defense is and makes her move accordingly. See? I love it. Great poise. She can use her right hand, her left hand. She can finish.
Gabby Williams getting the assist on the last field goal by Tuck. UConn now with 14 assists on 19 field goals. Really sharing the ball beautifully, and look at what Tuck is doing so far in this game. 18 points, went for 25 against Notre Dame this season. Brianna Stewart heads to the bench. Stewart 6 of 12 from the field. So far 32 field goal attempts for UConn, and they're a plus 17 in rebounding margin. In other words, they're getting a lot of opportunities here with more than 7 minutes to go in the first half. Fitzgerald's pull-up won't go.
Yeah, they've been terribly efficient here tonight.
Mosqueda Lewis back into the game. Gabby Williams tried to get it to Nurse. It was tipped out of bounds by Temple. You can see Gabby Williams as she settles in more and more as part of the regular rotation for this UConn team. When we saw what happened in the St. John's game, didn't get into the game when the game mattered, but reading some of her comments after the SMU game that she didn't want to be denied. She wanted to get every rebound possible, and you just see that confidence growing, and when she makes a mistake, she gets down on herself now because she's raised her bar so high here in the last couple of weeks. Thrown out of play will be Temple basketball after the tip. And we can take a look at the UConn teamwork replay breakdown presented by UConn Health.
Well, they have really good spacing, good movement without the ball. And a great finish there by the freshman.
Williams guarded by Nurse. Nurse, Tuck, Gabby Williams, Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis, and Sanaya Chong, the combination on the floor right now for the Huskies. Open look from the outside, missed by Temple.
Well, UConn had gone into a 2-3 zone, which left the outside open.
Nice feed, another one that rolls off, but Williams not done yet. Back outside, Nurse. Atkinson brings it away for the Owls. Approaching 6 minutes to go in the first half. UConn started the game scoring 13 straight points. Fitzgerald, well, there's the countdown again. Fitzgerald with 5 on the shot clock came up short, and it's grabbed by Sanaya Chong. Well, the students aren't back yet in session. They'll start class up for the second semester Tuesday, but those who are here making enough noise to throw Temple off their game. Atkinson on the drive. Gabby Williams there defensively. Nurse, Sanaya Chong. Gabby Williams, an offensive rebound.
Kia Nurse settling things down. The freshman. Gotta love to see that.
Gabby has 5 rebounds, Meg, 3 on the offensive glass so far.
That's just effort.
Mosqueda-Lewis looked good coming off, just wouldn't go down.
You gotta schedule more practices in here.
Yeah, one doesn't cut it. Could be the Gamble Rim's way of saying this is what you get for abandoning us for 53 days. Yeah. Foul on the drive by Coville. All right, so let's listen in. See the shot clock bottom of your screen?
If you're wondering why she threw that shot up with 7 seconds to go in the shot clock, you could hear the student section counting it down. That was a great tactic by the small yet boisterous crowd that's here in the student section.
Koval makes the first, and that allows teams to change up here as Kia Stokes comes in. Mariah Jefferson in as well. Kia Nurse to the bench, along with Gabby Williams. Stokes to Chong. Inside, Stokes. That one won't go down, but a couple of free throws coming up for senior Kia Stokes when we come back to Gamble Pavilion. But the Huskies on top by 22. UConn women's basketball on SNY is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, by Yale New Haven Hospital, and by GMC. Visit the pros at your Connecticut GMC dealer today to test drive one of our award-winning trucks or SUVs. GMC, we are professional grade. And we are ready to check in with Kareth Burke, whose report is brought to you by Samuel Adams.
Eric, we know the Huskies are happy to be back at Gamble Pavilion, but so is an assistant coach for Temple. Wilmette Crockett played for the Huskies from 2002 to 2006. She won 2 national championships with UConn. At Temple shoot-around today, I watched her soak it in at Gamble a little bit. She looked up at the championship banners, also noticed the new Husky logo at center court is different than when she played. And Gina Oriana and Chris Daly had big hugs for Crockett and Tanya Cardozo when they met up this afternoon. Gino told me he remembers Crockett as Miss March, a player rebounder who turned her game up for tournament time. Good rebounder, good on defense. As far as what Crockett told her players about being at Gamble, she said, "You can't lose the game before the game." That means Temple can't get caught up in playing the Huskies or be scared on their home court. Eric?
Miss March is a pretty good nickname. It's kind of like Mr. October for Reggie Jackson, so I'll take that one if I'm Will Nett. And I got it, you know, it's a sad thing, but as you get older and older and the farther and farther you get away from your college days, yeah, things change a little bit. You know, logos change. I mean, they keep adding some more banners, so.
And players usually get better the longer they're gone.
It stinks getting old, Coach Crockett, no question. Good to have her back here in Stores. Assistant coach for Tanya Cardoza. Temple Owls down by 24, 3:20 to go. Stokes gets in deep. That one will stay down. 6 points now for Kia Stokes.
No question, this is the best interior passing I've seen all season long.
Tuck with the rebound. Here comes Jefferson. Slow start for her offensively. Chong with a nice little fake to get free. And another rebound for UConn. Dominating the glass. Now, some of these shots that rattled around the rim and out went down. No telling where we'd be right now. As it is, UConn is up by 28. And 20 now for Morgan Tuck.
I was going to say, and Morgan Tuck is there to clean it up.
Open look for Fitzgerald. Rebounded by Colville for Temple. Beat into the corner, won't go down. Stokes pulls it down. Berger with the miss.
It's too bad Berger missed that shot. It was a nice extra pass by Temple.
Mosqueda Lewis. And illegal screen called on Kia Stokes. She knew it right away.
But working hard in the lane, Stokes, and then the nice entry pass. And then cleaning up the offensive boards once again. Morgan Tuck so active. And Temple, even though they have inside position, they just can't keep UConn off the glass.
$15 assists for the Huskies here in the first half, again averaging better than 20 a game. .145 to go here in the first half. Leah butts back into the game. She played with a lot of confidence here in the first half. Can't get that to go. Mosqueda Lewis attacking the paint. We'll get the roll here. She's in the double figures with 10. 20 for Tuck, 12 for Stewart, 10 for Mosqueda Lewis.
That's the kind of stuff Kalina Mosqueda Lewis has got to do all the time. Penetrate as often as possible.
Tipped by Kia Stokes. It'll be Temple basketball. Be sure to stay with us at halftime. Gary Apple will have the first half highlights, and also this question will be answered by some of the UConn players. Which TV shows would players love to appear on?
Give me the Goldbergs.
It's very current. I was going to go with, well, I don't want to say which shows I grew up with. It will show my age. I'm going to guess there's some sort of reality show theme to it, but you'll find out with Gary coming up at halftime. Courtney Ekmark into the game for the first time. There's Stokes coming in to help with the block. And a foul called on Mariah Jefferson.
I mean, Stokes just hangs back there and has perfect timing.
4 blocks now for Kia. Again, came in averaging 3.9 a game. Good for 5th in the country. 5th on UConn's all-time list at the moment. Front end of the 101 is good for Tiana Williams. First points tonight for the senior from Fort Washington, Maryland.
The lone senior on this club. One minute to go, first half. Morgan Tuck, the scoring star for UConn, with 20. Mosqueda Lewis had it knocked out of her hands.
Turnover number 6 for the Huskies. Ekmark hits the deck, trying to keep it alive, but it was last touched by UConn, so it's Temple basketball. It has been a long time since Temple hit from the field, and Mariah Jefferson will keep that drought going. The steal and score. First points tonight for Mariah after she missed her first 4 field goal attempts. Now they're going to go with the game clock countdown here. Butts doesn't fall for it this time. Freshman showed a little poise.
She got rushed a little.
You think so?
I do.
All right. That's the end of the first half.
Gino upset at Kia Stokes for throwing that ball to Mosqueda Lewis, who couldn't see the defender behind her.
Half ends with Temple missing their last 16 field goal attempts. And that is why UConn is on top by 30 at the break. They put 55 points on the board, attacking the paint in the first half for the most part, and they lead 55-25 over the Temple Owls. Let's hear from the head coach. Gino is standing by with Kareth.
Gino, Morgan Tuck had 20 points. Brianna Stewart had a dozen. Why were things going well for your big girls in this first half?
I think we got a huge advantage in the lane, you know, and Morgan just works really, really hard in the lane. She, you know, it's a real secret, you know. She goes in the lane and wants the ball, and when they give it to her, she does something good with it. I thought her and Stewie really started the game in a real aggressive fashion, and that I hope we start every game like that. I mean, there's no better way to start the game than dominating in the lane.
Thank you very much, Gino. UConn has built a 55-25 lead. Success in the lane, more than 30 points in the paint for UConn. Kia Stokes also with 4 blocks. We'll break it down more on the halftime report coming up from Gamble Pavilion.
UConn women's basketball on SNY is brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts Dark Roast is here. Bold start, smooth finish, never bitter. America runs on Dunkin'. By Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop ChooseNissan.com. And by DeGiorgi Roofing and Siding. Sure to check out the UConn men's ice hockey team this season at the XL Center. They're at Notre Dame Friday. They're back at the XL on January 27th. You can get your tickets by logging on to UConnTickets.com. Huskies have won 3 of their last 4. Take a look at the halftime stats presented by Bob's Discount Furniture. Shooting tells a big part of the story. UConn at 55%, holding Temple to 18%. But how about the points in the paint? 36-0 in favor of UConn. Here's Kareth with Temple head coach Tanya Cardozo just a moment ago.
Well, Coach, your team was not afraid to shoot the ball in the first half. Just a question of getting those shots to fall. What did you ask them to do to get better looks at the bucket?
You know, we know that they're in the paint waiting for us, and that's what we like to do, to attack the basket. And they have their bigs in there ready for us. And I'm just telling our guys, you're not going to get a lot of open shots, so when you are open, shoot the ball. I felt like, you know, they were shooting the ball with confidence. There were a few of them that just bounced, you know, right off the rim, and they're good looks. Just continue to shoot the ball, and hopefully they'll fall the second half.
Thank you very much. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Kareth, thanks. Let's take a look at the leaders tonight. Morgan Tuck, outstanding. She was 9 of 10 from the field in the first half. Brianna Stewart with 12 points and 5 assists in the first half. Eric and Meg back with you here courtside. Tell me what you're looking for in the second half with UConn on top by 30.
Well, to have this kind of lead, they've really got to come out and continue to fight. You know, we always talk about the first 5 minutes is so important, but not to take anything for granted. And it's hard. I mean, mentally, they have to stay sharp. But when you can get the ball to Morgan Tuck, who's as poised as she is in that low post, there's a reason she's got 20 points in 18 minutes, because she's incredibly efficient with that basketball from the low post. Brianna Stewart had an outstanding first half, 12 points in 13 minutes. And anytime, well, the reason they lead the country in blocks, you got Kia Stokes who came in. There's 2 of her 4 swats in that first 20.
And again, the line for Tuck, 20 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists no turnovers, 1 steal, 9 of 10 from the field.
And now the key is to work on their mental toughness, is to build on it here in the second half. Take a step forward, not a step back.
Mosqueda Lewis and Stewart both fighting for that rebound, laughing as they came away with it. Stewart couldn't get it to go.
I thought it was just the other rim. Maybe it's this one too.
Could be. Stewart just played 13 minutes in the first half. 12 points, 5 assists, 1 turnover. Did get up 12 shots in those 13 minutes. Kia Nurse tracks down this rebound, looks up for Mariah Jefferson. Nurse, open look, and buries it.
Well, she was wide open. She thought about it, and she thought, why not?
A little bit of a struggle in the first half for Kia. Was 0 for 2 from the field. Did have 4 rebounds, but had a couple of turnovers as well. Saw Gina Auriemma talking to her once or twice in that first half. She is a competitor. We'll see how she responds here in the second half. And that's the one thing, the final word on Morgan Tuck. You know, she didn't like the way she played against SMU in a game where UConn was in all other areas of the game rolling. So it's one of those games where she came out determined, play a little bit better.
Right.
Maybe it's the case with Kia Nurse compared to the first half.
Well, there she kind of like faced up, was looking to pass and said, wait a minute, there's not a red jersey anywhere near me. I'm going to shoot it.
Mosqueda Lewis called for the foul.
Well, and see, this is where human nature can kind of kick in, and this is what you have to guard against. And she's saying, what? But you can't come out and just expect Temple to just roll over and die. You got to come out and still play sharp, play hard. And I'm not saying it's easy when you're up 58-25. But that's a lot easier than having Gino scream at you at the end of this game or at practice.
I'm guessing no matter what era of UConn basketball, whether it was your playing era or
that
the current
long ago?
era, yes, ancient history, or the current one, whenever you foul a jump shooter, that usually hasn't been received too well by any coach at any time,
Because it typically means you're out of position or late to the play.
Rebound by Mosqueda Lewis. Nurse calling for it, letting it go, and ripping it through again.
Yeah, she wanted that ball. Nice skip pass against the zone. Obviously, the zone is going to try to clog it up in the lane to take away the inside game.
Tuck got a little careless with the basketball as she had it, and Mariah Jefferson was right next to her, and UConn pays the price after the turnover.
Yeah, give credit to Erica Colville, making a great steal and then a really great finish.
She's in the double figures now with 11, taking back to the Nurse three-pointer, her second of the half.
A good offensive rebound by Mosqueda Lewis. Everyone is jamming it in the lane.
Spot throw in.
And the usual, when someone hits a three, Polito up and down with the high fives.
And we saw at SMU when she was in the game, she forgot to hand off the high five baton to somebody to carry on.
It was a seamless transition though, right?
Now Tuck gets it to Jefferson, and here come the Huskies. Tuck wants nothing to do with it right now. Inside, outside, the hot hand. Now the rim's softening up a little bit. Three-pointers for
that almost defied physics. That hit like the bottom front of that rim and found a way to roll in from three-point range. Great touch. Stewart a little dramatic there.
And at the scores table, and Butts knocks down another three. That is 11 for the freshman. She went for 24 in the win against, in the loss, I beg your pardon, against USF last time out, including 5 three-pointers. So she has really found her game. Speaking of which, there's Morgan Tuck. 22 for Tuck. 4th time this season she's gone for 20 or more.
Something tells me it won't be the last.
Williams. Erica Colville with the rebound, but the offensive foul. And look who took the charge.
Second one she took today. Mosqueda Lewis. And that, kind of quite like that Notre Dame game that you alluded to earlier. When she can get involved in all different facets of the game, this team is exponentially better.
As she's walking back, you see she's at the top of your screen there. She just shared a laugh with Shea Ralph and Marissa Mosley. Brianna Stewart on the inside. I say this only in jest. Maybe they could be joking around, but she could have topped her season total for taking charges. That could have been part of the trash talk.
Could have been.
Say it out of all the respect.
Knowing Shea and Marissa, probably was a little trash talk. And that's Stewart's fault.
Well, Stewart back there.
Good recovery.
Takes it away from Butts. The feed, the extra pass, the layup.
Pretty.
Timeout called by Temple. 24 now for Morgan Tuck, one shy of her career high, and something UConn has done so well all season, sharing the basketball. UConn in control against the Temple Owls in the 6th meeting all time between these two teams, and UConn's been looking to the inside from the start of this game, but finding success outside as well as we take a look at Como's court vision.
Well, watch the Kalina Mosqueda Lewis gets the ball in the low post. Look at this. You think this is respect? 3 red jerseys converging on her, right? Now Morgan Tuck is going to get to the high post, which brings that defender near her. Look on the opposite side, and look how Mosqueda Lewis waited and bought a little more time for Kia Nurse to get over into that corner all by herself. That was outstanding from Kalina Mosqueda Lewis. Great patience, great timing.
10 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists now for Mosqueda Lewis on 4 of 6 shooting.
You know, that was
Morgan Tuck to the bench with Stokes into the game.
We talked a little bit about the decision making.
Sanaya Chong in as well. Go ahead, Meg.
That's a great decision there by Mosqueda Lewis. You know, those are the things that this team needs to continue to work on in the positive direction.
Another timeout on the floor. We'll take it as well here in the second half. Tonight, after post-game coverage, it's the Gino Auriemma Show. You'll find which freshman's selfless act has paid off in a big way, and hear what Coach Gino admires the most. It's all coming up after the post-game. And when it comes to recruiting, it's a family affair.
So for us, one of the hardest things for us to identify in recruiting is, do we want these parents in our program, yes or no? Sometimes it's not even, do we want that kid in our program? Sometimes the kid's not a bad kid. Do we want these parents in our program? And you'd be surprised how many times we say no, we don't. Because that's where all the problems are going to start for any kid in college. Because these parents, today, they don't want to be the kid's parents. They want to be their friend.
Now, 2 things. One, that last line is a pretty telling social commentary
that
I agree with him on.
Yes.
But while you were listening, you were nodding along because you've probably seen it. You see how parents think they're the ones being recruited to the program because they're the ones who've put their kids in that position to play Division I basketball.
Yeah, it can get crazy, but you know, it makes you appreciate the good ones who just want their kid to enjoy their college experience.
Stewart, Jefferson, Chong, got it. First points for the sophomore.
I've just noticed a really good purpose on offense for UConn tonight. Dribble penetrating, not just settling for the first open shot.
Gino talked about it with Kareth on his way off the floor at the end of the first half, just about attacking the paint. We saw the big edge and the points in the paint because it's just a big advantage. Well, the shot clock countdown works again here in UConn's favor. Jefferson Now Temple with numbers back the other way, but Chong and Jefferson running back, but Fitzgerald there for the finish. She now has 8 for Temple. That's the key for Temple. They need to shoot early in the shot clock and not let the fans
exactly.
get involved. Brianna Stewart on the inside, now with 16 points.
Well, this kind of proves Temple's youth, too, because you got to look at the shot clock a little bit.
6.5 minutes gone by here in the second half. Huge edge for UConn on the glass. A plus 25 in rebounding margin. Tipped out of bounds by Chung. Good hands in the passing lane. It'll still be Temple ball. We take you back to the Stewart. Put back.
I just like how active they've been in different ways, not settling for the easy play. Gritting it out and getting in there and trying to get on the offensive glass. Posting up, and the guards are doing a really nice job of getting the ball into the low post. They've struggled with that at times this year.
Gabby Williams into the game for UConn along with Kia Nurse. Scramble for the basketball, won by Temple.
Yeah, good hustle there by Temple.
And a three-pointer is made by Williams. And the officials have a foul on the fight for the rebound underneath. So I think they're going to count the basket and call a foul on Temple.
Temple foul.
Berger gets called for the push.
Well, all I saw was, oh yeah, she pushed her hands on the back. All I saw was Brianna Stewart on the ground, and I'm thinking, something had to help her get there. 2 hands on the back and a shove, that'll do it.
Kia Stokes. Ooh, Stewart getting up and putting it back in with the left hand. 18 points now for Stewart.
The best that I've seen them all year long is tonight getting the ball to that mid post, to the high, just inside the foul line, and then so many good things can happen from there. And certainly no one's blocking out Brianna Stewart.
Colville, count it, and the chance for a three-point play.
See there, the shot from the high post. No one boxes out Stewart. And then the nice finish with the left.
That's the third personal on Kia Stokes as Colville unable to finish off the three-point play. Gabby Williams had 5 points and 5 rebounds in the first half. Stewart. Here is Berger. Williams. Another rebound for Gabby Williams as Kia Nurse brings it across half court. Inside of 12 minutes to play now here in the second half at Gamble Pavilion. Second of 5 games played here in stores this year.
See there, a couple of quick shots, and look what it leads to. Nothing.
Williams knocked it away into the hands of Kia Stokes. And now Nurse right down the middle, and a blocking foul is called on the Owls. That will get us to our 12-minute media timeout with the Huskies on top by 35 here on their home floor. Wednesday, we're back on SNY as the Huskies will be on the road. Conference matchup against the UCF Knights. So we'll be in Orlando. And I checked the forecast. A little warmer than here.
Oh, good.
Our coverage begins Wednesday at 6:30 here on SNY. Time for tonight's UConn trivia question presented by Mercedes-Benz, who are the only 2 UConn players with 40-point games in their career. 40 or more. We'll have the answer coming up in just a few minutes. Remember, we told you Brianna Stewart had a career-high 37 against Temple last year, so I'll eliminate one potential answer as it's dropped in by Kia Nurse. Really good second half for Kia Nurse.
Well, you're not going to keep this kid down long. You know, didn't have a great first half. A couple turnovers that were unlike her.
She is into double figures now, 10 all in the second half.
Yeah, unlike most freshmen, she just plows through. She doesn't hit a wall. She doesn't get down on herself. She just keeps playing.
Most freshmen do hit a wall at some point. Now, I think we have talked right from the start of the season, from preseason while watching her, and her international experience is a big part of this. She is not your typical freshman.
No, not in any way, shape, or form.
Gabby Williams, another one of the freshmen with the rebound. But you know the history that there's going to be a wall somewhere for these freshmen to fight through. Sometimes it's a little bigger than most walls. Maybe it's a little smaller for Kia Nurse.
Hey, and it's hard for some of these upperclassmen to do what Gino asks and the coaching staff asks of them day in and day out as Nurse knocks down another jumper.
Another key area for Nurse, she's played a lot of basketball in the last year. If you think about her international experience with Team Canada. But I think she's in pretty decent shape.
Yeah, exactly.
There's another block for Stokes.
And she and Nurse were able to switch back. Stokes was out there guarding the 5'4".
Gabby Williams now with 9 rebounds, coming off her first career double-double last time out, 12 points and 16 boards. Another big rebounding game for the freshman. Mosqueda-Lewis knew she missed it, gets the rebound, gets the runner.
Yeah, she knew it was short when it left her hand, so what did she do? She followed her shot.
Inside of 10 minutes to go here in the second half. UConn has never trailed Temple. Looking for their 4th straight win in the series against the Owls. Colville. Another block for Stokes. Back out top with the shot clock down to 3. Knocked down by Berger. First points for Berger here tonight. Williams lost the handle. And getting knocked down in the paint was Gabby Williams. A foul called on Temple as we bring you to tonight's drive of the game presented by Ford.
Well, just a nice... I just like the persistence there by Mosqueda-Lewis. Missed the shot. What do I'll just rebound it and put it back up.
Kia Nurse checks out. Courtney Ekmark is in for UConn. She'll try again and make it again.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, a month ago, she may have taken that 3 just because she could. Well, I like that decision better. Get in the lane. Change your game. Add to your game.
You know what, too, Meg? She's attempted just 2 3-pointers tonight of her 9 field goal attempts. She's 6 of 9. Now, we know she was chasing that record down because everybody asked her about it, so she was well aware of it. As Sanaya Chong comes up with a steal. 4 points now for Chong. Maybe Mosqueda-Lewis, now that that record is in the rearview mirror,
yeah.
She's got number 1. Maybe
just worry about playing. Don't worry about records.
Because she's not just a 3-point shooter. I think that has been established. She is a great 3-point shooter. As Butts, pretty good 3-point shooter, knocks it down. KML is a great 3-point shooter, but we've watched her enough over the years. She's got a complete game.
Oh yeah, and her coaches have challenged her to get better and add more to your game. And the thing about Mosqueda-Lewis, she's not just a 3-point shooter. Drive into the lane, the record's behind her, the future is in front.
Time to answer tonight's trivia question presented by Mercedes-Benz. We asked the only 2 UConn players with 40-point games in their careers. Nikisha Sales for 46, but Maya Moore did it twice in her career.
How about Maya? Wow. And Maya's still killing it. USA Basketball Player of the Year. Just keeps getting better.
Out of the timeout, it's Chong, Mosqueda-Lewis, Gabby Williams, Kia Stokes. Courtney Ekmark, the 5 on the floor for UConn, trying to improve to 15-1 on the season and 5-0 in conference play. The game against USF coming up on Sunday afternoon here at Gamble. Williams back out to Chong. Stokes. Another rebound for UConn. Count it, and the foul. A chance for a three-point play for Kia Stokes.
A lot of continuation here tonight. Well, now, Stokes missed the first shot. She was kind of falling off to the left, but to her credit, she followed it. And then in traffic, kind of falling away, kisses it nicely off the glass.
51 rebounds now for Connecticut, 24 for Temple. Gino said there was a big advantage in the paint for UConn, and he was kidding.
And I think UConn has done an outstanding job of exploiting that height differential.
9.7 rebounds, 6 blocks for Kia Stokes, and Gabby Williams diving on the floor for the loose ball, touched it last. That's the kind of stuff you always appreciate. 42-point game, and you're going to sacrifice the floor.
Absolutely. Dive on the floor. And to do that up 89-47, that's a competitor.
Fitzgerald forces it up. This time the shot clock was expiring, and she banked it in.
She may not have believed it this time.
Oh, that's right. That was the students' plan all along. Sketta Lewis again into the paint, again with the dish, and a traveling violation on Kia Stokes. 9th turnover for Connecticut. After some early turnovers, Temple just with 10 for the game. Last time out, UConn beat SMU 87-28. Another block for Stokes.
And what is that, 7 for the game?
7 blocks to go along with 9 points and 7 rebounds.
It's like she's just hanging around, just waiting to block somebody's shot. Doesn't matter whose player it is.
Gabby Williams pulls it down for the Huskies. Sketta Lewis. 17 points now for KML on 7 of 10 shooting, and she also has 9 rebounds and 4 assists. One of those all-around games.
If she can keep that going, Eric,
Sure.
This team will be unstoppable.
Now, it's been another night, too, where you can really manage the starters' minutes. Not a ton of time played tonight by Mariah Jefferson, 20 minutes. Brianna Stewart, 22 minutes.
That becomes really crucial as the season goes on. Later in the season, save their legs.
Williams couldn't get it. Kia Stokes with a rebound. And a foul on Temple. It's a little late in the game, and it's a tricky triple-double to chase, but Stokes does, for the record, have 9 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 blocks. Just saying.
Could happen. She should get to 10 here from the free throw line.
Khadijah Berger back in for the Owls. 1-1 for Kia Stokes.
And I jinxed her.
As a team, UConn at 70% from the free throw line. That's 3rd in the conference. Fitzgerald got free. Nifty little move by the sophomore from Norfolk, now with 12 points.
That was a great crossover.
Courtney Ekmark is fouled by Williams, and she will head to the free throw line. UConn's average margin of victory in 4 conference games so far, 49.8. When you add it all up. Kalita Mosqueda-Lewis is done for the evening, it would appear. She heads to the bench. Really good game for the senior. Again, her numbers tonight, 17 points on 7 of 10 shooting. 10 rebounds, so it ends up being a double-double for KML. She also had 4 assists and just 1 turnover. And tonight she took over 11th place on the UConn all-time scoring list. Now with 18-17 in her career. Sanaya Chong pulls it down. Chong, Ekmark, Stokes, Williams, and Tierney Lawler, the 5 on the floor for the second-ranked Huskies, who will make it 14 wins in a row. With an interesting matchup coming up next time out that we'll talk about in just a couple of minutes. Williams wanted to get it back out to Chong. Did well to hold on to it. And now Gabby on the turnaround. Ripped away by Traore. Berger out top to Colville. 13 points for Colville, 14 for Butts. Fitzgerald with 12. Williams will launch a 3 and rip the 3. 10 points now for Williams. So they have 4 averaging in double figures this season. They have 4 in double figures here tonight.
I'll tell you what, Tanya Cardozo has done an outstanding job with this Temple team in her 7 years. Young and undersized this year. It's going to be a little bit of a struggle this year, but she's had great success and will have more.
Timeout on the floor. Once again, plenty to smile about for the Huskies on their way to win 15 this season.
Back inside our New York City studios, the People's United Bank Post Show is on the way. Going to hear from the head coach, Gino Auriemma. Complete game highlights and more analysis from Eric and Meg. And quite frankly, can we get enough of Eric and Meg? I don't think so, guys.
Gary, we look forward to spending some quality time with you during the post-game show. We want to give our very best to Kara.
Yes,
not
get
feeling
better.
her best. It is hard work when you've carried a program like UConn and you've carried our team like Kara has. So it gets a little tiring. So, Kara, we hope you feel better very soon. And we want to give our very best to our friend Rich Elliott, who did a phenomenal job on the beat for UConn. That is no longer his assignment. We're very excited to find out what Rich will be doing
That's
next.
right.
But Rich, we
outstanding.
hope you're watching. You are missed around here. You are missed in Husky Nation as well.
That's right.
We wish the very best for Rich. Yes, Stokes pulls down rebound number 10. And now timeout being called just to get Rana Polito into the game as Gabby Williams is done for the evening. Let's check in with Kareth.
Well, Eric, Gino told me something surprising today. He said his most improved player from last season to this season is Tierney Lawler. He said Tierney has guts and toughness. She joked that she wasn't recruited by Division 10, but she walked onto this team, proved she can be there, and when she gets minutes, she's gonna sink a bucket. I told Tierney about Gino's praise for her, and she was stunned there. She said she feels like it's been night and day though since last season. She has so much more confidence. Tierney also told me she's happier as a student now because she switched her major from engineering to animal science. She wants to be a farmer. So everything's coming together for Tierney, who summed it up like this: I just go out there and do what I'm told.
Great stuff, Kareth. Thanks very much. Well, Tierney's got a lot of playing time here. And there's a lot more to come as we continue on here in the month of January. So good to see she's making the most of it and being recognized by her coach.
Yeah, the upside of 40-point blowouts is a lot of minutes for Tierney Lawler.
But we've spent time watching either shoot-arounds or practices, and everybody's working. Everybody's.
Oh, yeah,
it doesn't matter if you weren't recruited by Division 10.
It doesn't matter. I mean, the kid works hard, and she wants to be here. I mean, Gino and Chris and the coaching staff has always said they want players who want to be here.
Fitzgerald for 2 more. 16 now for Fitzgerald. She'll lead Temple in scoring here tonight. Leading scorer for UConn, Morgan Tuck, 24 points, 20 coming in the first half. 1 point shy of her career high. Did not play too much in the second half, didn't need to. Also 17 points from Mosqueda Lewis, 18 for Brianna Stewart, 13 for Kia Nurse, all 13 coming in the second half. Post-game coming up, the People's United post-game show with Gary. We'll be back with you here from Gamble for our final thoughts. Rebound to Polito, and she'll take a look at the clock, circle around, and that will do it. Wire-to-wire win for the University of Connecticut as Gino tops his longtime assistant. Spent 14 years here, Tanya Cardoza, as UConn wins it here tonight. 92-58 is the final. Well, it's tough to make a decision. So tonight's players of the game presented by People's United Bank. About Morgan Tuck, Brianna Stewart, and Kalina Mosqueda Lewis. But remember, they were responsible for that big early push. Made Gino very happy, attacking the paint, attacking the basket, and look at the shooting numbers for this big three for UConn.
Yeah, you can't pick one over the other. I like the decision to do all three because they, and by the way, this is who will take this team to where they want to go, the three of these guys.
Gabby Williams in the double figures in rebounding with 10 rebounds, and Kia Stokes, a little honorable mention love for Kia tonight as she finishes with 9 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 blocks. Here's Kareth and Gino.
Well, Gino, I want to ask you again about Morgan Tuck and Brianna Stewart, your 2 leading scorers in this one. What kind of chemistry do they have on the court that allows them to play so well inside out?
Yeah, they've known each other for a long time, you know, and they've played together for a long time. And I think the thing that helps them is they both know the game really well. You know, they're very smart players, and they're both pretty good ball handlers, and they just have good instincts for the game. I mean, and they're getting better all the time. You know, each game, each practice that we have, you know, they really know. You know, they know each other, and I think that's you can't coach that really. That's just that kind of chemistry just has developed over the years.
Is it time for Morgan to be in the All-America conversation?
Well, you know, I always thought Morgan Tuck was one of the best players in the country in high school, and she didn't really get a chance to do much here because of her injuries the first 2 years. But I haven't seen everybody play in the country, but from what I've seen, there aren't a whole lot of players that I would rather have than Morgan. She's our All-American. I don't know if she's anybody else's, but she's ours.
Finally, Coach, Kalina Mosqueda Lewis is doing a lot on the court. She's a reliable three-point shooter. You like her defense. You like other aspects of the game. Why is she putting it all together lately?
Yeah, I think, too, when you get to be a senior and you've played as much basketball as she has, I think at some point you have to make some adjustments, you know. If you just want to be seen as a three-point shooter, it's easy to do. Just stand in one spot. And she did do that for a couple of years, you know. But I think as you grow and you learn more about the game and you start to see that you can do other things. And I remember with Maya Moore, we had to do that in pickup games and in practice. We told her that she wasn't allowed to shoot threes for a whole week. And she came back in the office, and I remember her saying, "Man, Coach, this is really fun." Yeah, there's a lot more to basketball than just chucking up threes. And I think Kay has discovered that, and she's having a lot of fun.
It's been fun to watch. Thank you, Gino.
All right.
A win for the Huskies over Temple, 92-58. The final, back for a final word before People's United postgame in just a moment.